In the preface to Original Buddhism, a treatise on thought, Venerable Thich Quang Du offers the following reflection. Buddhism, much like a tree, comprises three essential components: the root, the trunk, and the branches with their foliage. The root symbolizes the foundational teachings of Buddhism. The trunk represents Theravāda Buddhism, and the branches and leaves correspond to Mahāyāna Buddhism. One cannot conceive of a tree existing without roots, yet if it possessed only roots and no visible growth, it would be devoid of vitality. Similarly, a tree with roots and a trunk but lacking foliage would resemble a tree in winter, evoking an impression of desolation and lifelessness. While the root and trunk anchor and support the tree, it is the lush and abundant canopy that manifests the tree's vigorous life force. Moreover, the shade cast by its flourishing branches provides solace and comfort to weary travelers journeying under the scorching summer sun. In the same manner, the tree of Buddhism attains its full expression only when all three elements, the foundational teachings, Theravāda and Mahāyāna, are integrated. Each complements and gives meaning to the others, forming a unified and complete embodiment of the Buddhist tradition. Therefore, from a humble perspective, the views held by the ancient Mahāyāna practitioners, Bodhisattvas, toward the Hinayana practitioners, Arhats, as well as the prejudices that the Hinayana practitioners had against the Mahāyānists, are all mistaken. For example, the common Mahāyāna notion that Hinayana practitioners are merely withered seeds, those who have cut off the Buddha seed, meaning selfish individuals who seek only their own liberation without concern for spreading the Dharma or benefiting sentient beings to carry on the Buddha's spirit of teaching. Such a notion is gravely mistaken and completely inconsistent with historical reality. When studying the history of the propagation of the Dharma, one cannot ignore the case of Purna. In ancient Western India, there was a region called Sunapuranta, where Buddhism had not yet been introduced, and the local people were known to be extremely violent. Punna wished to travel there to preach the Dharma and thus sought the Buddha's permission. The Buddha said, "The people of Sunapuranta are fierce and difficult to persuade. What will you do if they insult you?" Punna replied, "I will consider them gentle, for they have not struck me with sticks. Then what if they strike you with sticks? I will still think they are kind, for they have not attacked me with knives. And if they attack you with knives, then I will think they are good people, and I will thank them, for by doing so they help me cast off this impure and painful body." Seeing such steadfast courage and determination, the Buddha approved and allowed Punna to travel to that region to spread the Dharma. Who could possibly claim that such an attitude is self-serving, or that he represents a withered seed? Let me know if you'd like this translated into a simpler or more poetic version, or need it used in an academic paper or video script. This is merely one representative case among countless others, too numerous to recount here. Furthermore, simply by observing the current state of Theravāda Buddhism in countries such as Sri Lanka, Myanmar, Thailand, and others, one can clearly see the immense merit and dedication of the Theravāda practitioners in propagating and preserving the Dharma. In particular, the shining example of Anagarika Dhammapala, a Sri Lankan lay practitioner, in more recent times stands as a direct continuation of the ancient spirit embodied by figures like Punna and Mahinda, the latter of whom brought the Dharma to Sri Lanka centuries ago. On the other hand, the common view among many Theravāda adherents that Mahāyāna is not the Buddha's teaching, implying it is heretical or non-Buddhist, coupled with a sense of self-satisfaction in their own traditional way of life and a closed attitude toward exploring Mahāyāna scriptures. Such a view, if not excessively dogmatic, may at the very least be considered somewhat narrow-minded. If one claims that Mahāyāna is not taught by the Buddha, then apart from a perfectly enlightened being who fully comprehends the karmic nature of all sentient beings, who else could have given rise to such profound and transcendent insights as those found in Mahāyāna Sutras? Readers, if I may be fortunate enough to have any, will come to see the grand worldview of interdependent origination in infinite layers, Pratityasamutpada, presented in the Avatamsaka Sutra. The philosophy of emptiness, sunyata, in the Prajnaparamita texts. The idea of the true nature of all dharmas, in the Lotus Sutra. The teaching of Let the mind arise without attachment to anything, in the Diamond Sutra, and such concepts as non-abiding nirvana. Afflictions are none other than enlightenment, and more. All these vast, profound, and boundless insights find their roots in the original spirit of early Buddhism. The Dharma has only one true flavor, the flavor of liberation. Yet, the paths to that liberation are many. Whether through the Mahāyāna or the Theravāda approach, all methods ultimately aim at the same singular goal: liberation. Opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis.